Welcome, children. Today, let's talk about subject and predicate in our grammar class. Before we go into our topic, let's see an introduction to sentence. How we get a sentence and what is a sentence? The English language is made up of the English alphabet A to Z, which is in a fixed order. There is no change in the order. That's why it's called as the alphabet. Now, the English alphabet has 26 letters. Each one is called as a letter. I have some here for you at random. When these letters are joined together, we get a word. Now, for example, I take the letter M and I take the letter E. I put them together and I get a new word, me. Similarly, I take S, I take the letter A, I take the letter M and I join it with E, I get the letter same. We can make a number of words like this with the help of these letters. Now, when you join these words together, we get a sentence. So, what is a sentence? A group of words with complete meaning is called as a sentence. When I say group of words, they don't mean any group of words. Now let me give you an example. Now just look at this one here. Color, the, green, in, grass, is. Now this is a group of words. Now is it called a sentence? No, you cannot call it as a sentence. Why? Because they don't give us any meaning at all. Now look at the second one. The grass is green in color. This is called as a sentence because it gives us a complete meaning. Therefore, it is called as a sentence. Now, I have another example here for you children. Best is my John friend. No wonder you can call it as a group of words, but then you cannot call it as a sentence because they don't convey a complete meaning. Now, see the next sentence here. John is my best friend. Now, this one can be called as a sentence because it gives us a complete meaning. So, a sentence is a group of words with complete meaning. Now to sum up, let's see. First we have letters. From letters we get words. From words we get a sentence. And from a sentence we get the subject and the predicate. Let's start with an intro to subject and predicate. So we have learnt about a sentence. And we must know that a sentence should take a subject and a verb. Without a subject and a verb, there is no sentence. So, for a better understanding, I shall tell you what a subject is made of. A subject is made of nouns, pronouns, and noun phrases. Now, let's see what's a noun. This is a recap. Nouns are names of persons, places, animals, and things. I have pictures here for you. Now, person, she can be called as a mother, a woman, a child, a baby, Mrs. Seema, etc. This is a park. Animals, they can also be called as birds or eagle, a horse, a lion, etc. etc. Now for things, we have table, pen, chairs, lamp, etc. etc. The next one is pronouns. What are pronouns? Words used instead of nouns are called as pronouns. They are subjective pronouns and they come at the beginning of a sentence. I, you, they, we, it, he, she. Then we have noun phrases. What are noun phrases? Groups of words with a noun. Like a quick brown fox. When we say only fox, it is a word, a noun. When we say a quick brown fox, it is a noun phrase. 3 little birds. We have important things to remember. Subjects mostly come at the beginning of the sentence. Sometimes subjects come at the end or in the middle of a sentence. Sometimes subjects are hidden in a sentence. We have examples. Here, John kicked the dog at the beginning of the sentence. On the way, I met a girl in the middle of the sentence. Out of the forest came a tiger. The subject is at the end of a sentence. Sit on the bench. It means you sit on the bench. The subject is hidden and you have to use the pronoun you in this case. Now let's see about predicates. Now predicates are made up of verbs and verb phrases. Now what is a verb? Verb does an action in a sentence. I have some here for you. Fight, drink, cry, run. There are lots of verbs, action verbs in our vocabulary. Now, the main verbs usually show action and it is easy for you to find out. We also have auxiliary verbs or helping verbs or be verbs or state of being verbs. Now, they are all called as helping verbs. Okay. Sometimes they stand alone, sometimes they come along with the main verbs. Here I have some them for you. Am, is, are, was, were, has, have, had, etc. So they help to make the verb phrase. Is jumping, was covered. Facts to remember: predicate has a verb or a verb phrase. It explains about the subject. So, example, the quick brown fox jumped over the dog. Jumped is your verb, and all the words that come after that make the predicate. They will say more about the subject. The little tree was covered with snow. Was covered. We have an auxiliary verb, a main verb. It is called as a verb phrase. The whole thing makes the predicate for you. Let's learn about subject and predicate. In the previous session, we have already learnt about what a sentence is. Now let's learn about the parts of a sentence. A sentence has two parts, subject and predicate. What is a subject? The subject tells who or what the sentence is about. It is the doer of action and it is a noun or pronoun. What is a predicate? A predicate tells something about the subject, what the subject does or is, and it begins with a verb. Now look at the examples. Dolphins are clever animals. This sentence is talking about the dolphins. Therefore, dolphins is the subject. Are clever animals is telling us all about the subject. Therefore, it is called as the predicate. The next example, he runs around the park. Now, who runs around the park? He. What is he doing? Runs around the park. So, he is the subject. Runs around the park is your predicate. Lions roar. This sentence is talking about the lions. So, lions is your subject. Roars is telling us all about the subject. Therefore, roars is your predicate. Let's see some more examples, children. The frog jumped over the dog. This sentence is talking about the frog. The frog is your subject. Jumped over the dog is telling us all about the subject. Therefore, jumped over the dog is called as your predicate. It begins with your verb jumped. The frog is a noun. The old man walked slowly on the beach. This sentence is talking about the old man. It is a noun phrase. What is he doing? Walked slowly on the beach. This is your predicate. Begins with your Verb walked. I love eating chocolates. This sentence is talking about I. I is a pronoun, it is a subject. What is I doing? Love eating chocolates. So it is your predicate. The next one, birds fly. The sentence is talking about birds. It is your subject. Birds is a noun. What are they doing? They fly. So fly is your predicate. Remember, it is only a verb. There is only a verb over here, nothing more. Even then, this fly becomes your predicate. The boy stood on the bank of a river. About whom is the sentence talking? It speaks about the boys. The boys is your subject. What are they doing? They stood on the banks of a river. This is your predicate. Stood is your verb. I think you have understood the session, children. I have an exercise for you. Identify the subject and the predicate. I have an example. You see who is doing the about whom is the sentence talking. That will become your subject. And when it begins with the verb and all that is followed after the verb, that becomes your predicate. It should be saying something more about the subject. So you have to follow this format for doing the homework. I shall see you in the next session.